Hello and welcome to Giant Mess, a super sloppy sports and entertainment podcast that's hosted by a giant mess. That's me, the real cinch Neal Lynch. I'm a former fourth-string college quarterback and middling middle relief pitcher with a film and media studies degree. And now I'm a single dad who likes to talk Giants football, Mets baseball, movies, TV, and comedy. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about the New York Giants' Thursday night football loss to the Dallas Cowboys. No, this is not a rerun. No, this is not a repeat. No, you are listening to a most recently published episode of this podcast. We lost again, 20-15. So we'll break down why we lost, what it means for the future, the criticism pointed at Daniel Jones, Brian Dable, our defense, the whole shebang. And then we'll do a very half-assed preview of the upcoming game against the Seahawks. I'm recording this on the Friday after the Thursday night game, so there's no spread, there's no line. I mean, the Seahawks haven't even played in week 4 yet. So, but I have a pretty good sense of what's going to happen. Barring anything crazy happening this Sunday, I have a pretty good idea of what's about to happen. So without further ado, let us kick it off dynamically. All right. New York Giants lost to the Dallas Cowboys 20-15 on Thursday Night Football. Heading into this game, I think the Giants fan base was pretty well aligned, soup to nuts, A to Z across the board with our feelings. We thought this could be a turning of the tides, as I said in my preview video. This could be where the momentum shifts. This could be when we start to come out of our funk against Dallas, because the Dallas has not looked great in weeks 2 and 3 against the Ravens and against the Saints. But we also knew that this also could be a recipe for disaster and another blowout in prime time in the national spotlight. So it was either I'm feeling an upset win or I'm feeling a blowout loss. This is a game that I think if you were to ask a lot of Giants fans, we could have and should have won. This is a game that we let slip away, multiple opportunities. And even when they're at their lowest, which this is for Dallas of recent history, this is probably as low as they have been in the regular season. You know, starting 1-2, possibility of going 1-3 against the team that they have owned up and down, left and right. So, you know, it was like they're on the brink of disaster, and it felt like, you know, okay, we go into Cleveland, we get a win. It's technically an upset win. No one was expecting us to win, but it also didn't feel like a full 60-minute dominant win. You know, we dominated for like a half, and then we kind of coasted and held on for the second half. So, that was the vibe going in, is like I can very easily see us pulling off a win against a Dallas team, a Cowboys team that is a little battered, you know, doesn't have their confidence, seems to be kind of falling apart at the seams, very frustrated, short week. And lo and behold, nope, they still have our number. We can't figure them out. And we can't figure out how to score touchdowns, and we can't figure out how to win games. And that's the name of the game, is to fucking win, dude. And Brian Dable is responsible for what is on the field, as is Joe Shane. So I'm going to go back to what I was saying in the first 2 weeks and into the third week is, even though we're not, it's like, it's such a, and someone tweeted about this, I forget who, but it's such a low bar at this point, and we're not even meeting that expectation. Like, at least we didn't go blown out. That's improvement. Well, no, improvement is beating the motherfuckers that have beaten you nonstop for the past decade plus. Once you start beating the Cowboys and Eagles, then you have my vote of confidence. once you start losing to the Commanders, it's just like, yes, there's an improvement, but as John Mara said, when he was asked, what do you want to see from this team? He said, I want to see a step forward. Now, did he say a big step forward or a huge step forward? I can't remember, but he wanted to see a step forward. Yes, this is a step forward from what we saw last season, but last season was such a nightmare that it wouldn't take much to be a step forward from last season, right? Is this a step forward from 2022? We made the playoffs in 2022, and maybe it was a fluke, and maybe we caught teams off guard. They didn't know what to expect from us. They didn't know how to defend against the new Daniel Jones, quote unquote, in a new system. But I don't see enough improvement to make me think, like, what is your leash? What is your runway? I mean, if you give Pat Shurmur 10 seasons, is he going to turn around in 10 seasons? Maybe. If you give Ben McAdoo 5 or 6 or 8 seasons, would he turn it around? If you give Joe Judge 5, 10 seasons, would he turn it around? We'll never know. But it's like, is this the best of those Shurmur teams and the Judge teams and the McAdoo teams? Is this the best team that we have seen since Coughlin left? So from 2016 to 2024, is Dable doing the best, quote unquote? I guess. It's not by a whole lot. So, and that's why it's like, yeah, it's like, I don't even know if it's encouraging. It's discouraging because you expect more, you want more. If he, I don't know. There's a lot of season left, but I just, again, like, you have people saying that we're already going to lose to Dallas, to the Cowboys in Dallas again. We're probably not, like, it's just, if you're improving, but you're still not winning, I think that's where, Mara's and kind of put him in a tough spot. He's in a tough spot because he must be torn at the seams about this, thinking about, well, do I stick with this for another year, knowing that it's an improvement? And are we really only a player or two away? On defense, is it really a matter of just getting a CB2 on off and another defensive lineman to complement Dexter Lawrence, or at least to fill in for Dexter somewhat admirably and not let the defensive line go to shambles when he's off the field? Is it a matter of, it really is just the quarterback? It really is just like, if we had a quarterback that could throw a deep ball accurately, would we be sitting here at fucking 3-1? So it's like, are they really just a player or two away, or is it really just like it's a systemic thing where I don't think Dable has the chops to really pull this team to be a winning playoff team year after year? In my head, he's like a notch below Jim Fossil. It's like, do I see, and I don't know that I have the kind of confidence in Dable at this point to say that he can lead us to a Super Bowl like Jim Fossil did. And granted, that was, completely unexpected in 2000. In 2000, we were not picked to be the division winner or to go to the playoffs, and we surprised a lot of people. And I have my theories on 2000. Like, if the Ravens didn't exist, I think we win the Super Bowl. But he's a notch below Jim Fossil. Like, Ray Handley got the boot after 2 seasons, and he went 8-8 and 6-10, something like that. But he was universally detested by the players. I guess the feeling is that Dable is, I don't know, because it's conflicting reports. Does the clubhouse like him? Does the locker room like him? Or do they not like him? I'm sure he's not universally beloved. Jalen Hyatt still in the doghouse. So I just don't see it. I mean, I've worked very hard to not be as pessimistic in my life as I used to be. I'm trying to look for positivity and hope, but it's like, hope is a dangerous thing, right? And so it's like, at this point as a Giants fan, it's like, we get to see Malik Neighbors ball out. That's it. We know. I think most of us have to know, even the most avid Daniel Jones defenders. And I was one for a long time, have to know he's just not it. He's just not it. Yes, he has he has had shown flashes and he's had the potential to win us games, but he doesn't win enough. You have to win. This is the whole point. It's like fucking, what's his name? Herb Edwards or whatever. Yeah, Herm Edwards. Like you have to, you play to win the game. Like you have to win. And he's just not. He can win, and that's why I think he'll be an amazing backup. There's Nick Foles did wonders for backup quarterbacks everywhere. Because it like opens you up to the possibility of like, well, maybe I can get my chance and take my team to the Super Bowl in the right system and win. Fucking Nick Foles, dude. But I don't see it with him. So, there was a lot at stake last night. It could have been where we put our flag in the sand and say, this is where we're taking our stand and we're taking back our franchise and respect. And it was a huge game for us to capture that and then to ride that momentum. And we couldn't, and we gave it. And it's like, it wasn't necessarily low effort from most people on that field, but it's just like, I think we threw the kitchen sink at them pretty much. And, a team that was missing like the Dallas defense was missing their top corners, practice squad guys playing, Parsons is hurt. DeMarcus Lawrence is hurt. And you still come away and you're like, nope, we threw everything at them and we couldn't score more than 15 points. We were looking for our first Thursday night win since 2015. We were looking for our first Sunday and Thursday night combo win since 2014. Our first win against Dak Prescott since 2016. We were looking for our second win versus the Cowboys in 15 motherfucking meetings. We were looking for our second win for Daniel Jones in 14 primetime starts. And we did not get it. Now, is that all on Daniel Jones? No. Is that all on Brian Daboll? No. But it's like, I think he just, I forget who said it on Twitter, but I think he just had to keep throwing stuff at the wall. It's okay to admit this is not working. The forecast is cloudy as fuck, and it's not looking like it's going to clear up. It looks like more of the same. The referees didn't help things. I'm not going to completely pin this loss on the referees, but man, they did a lot. They did a lot against our favor, not in our favor. That opening drive where we're moving the ball and we get down deep into Dallas territory and they call that fucking face mask penalty on Daniel Bellinger when he was the one who was face masked. There has been, blatant. There's no way you can fuck that up, and they did. And it killed our drive. We ended up with 3 points there. And, and seeing how the rest of the game played out, we probably would have ended up with 3 points anyway. We just can't score. As for as much praise that Daboll gets for, his play calling, the play calling fucking sucked. especially in the second half, and especially on third down, and especially in red zone situations. So, okay, so maybe the second half, the Cowboys adjust, whatever. But third down and red zone are two areas that you have to succeed in if you want to win games. And he has not been able to do that with his play calling. So even though the play calling appears to be better, right? From last season, from when Kafka was handling it, from even the first week, each week it's getting better, but it's like, we're 1-3, dude. Like, I just, So yeah, that face mask penalty was horse shit. And then, the screen to Rico Dowdle that he takes for the touchdown, there's like multiple holds, multiple flags. So multiple refs fucking saw a penalty and they picked them all up and let it stand. So it's like if you want to make the argument that the Giants could have got 7 on the open drive, so that's 4 points that we lost, and then 7, that's 11 points. And you take away 11 from it's like we would have won. Sure. The refereeing was just egregious last night. And I've seen plenty of games, and that has to go down as one of the worst refereed Giants games I've ever seen in my life. Top 5. No brainer, top 5, top 3, probably. We only had 4 penalties accepted against us. There were only 4, but man, were they massive. And and it was going both ways. I mean, they called some really bad penalties against Dallas as well. I mean, the taunting penalty was whatever. He definitely threw the ball. It was in the direction of the Giants players. I can see why they called it. You could probably eat the flag on that one and you don't have to call it. There was some questionable holding penalties against Kayvon Thibodeau. That was like, I think you could have let that slide. So it's there was, I don't know if it was the first Cowboys drive, but where they went 3 and out, but Banks was like hands to the face and holding CeeDee Lamb. They didn't call it. So, it was definitely some bad refereeing each way, but I think the missed calls on us hurt us more than they did Dallas. So I found this interesting. Clay Martin, the head referee for the game last night. Cowboys are 4-0 in road games he's officiated. Opponents were called for 34 penalties, significantly more than Dallas. It also led to a plus 11.8 expected points added for the Cowboys. So, would be nice for the league to look into that. And it would be nice for them to put the hammer down on these referees and to make it public that we have fined them, we have suspended them, blah, blah, blah. They won't. Maybe we'll get an apology letter and we can frame it and we can make it into a banner and we can hang it from MetLife and be like, hey, the game we should have won because of refs. We could have a whole ceremony. It'd be pretty nice. So, and it's like, you look at the Pro Football Focus grades. I'm at the point now where I don't even know what to make of these Pro Football Focus grades. Daniel Jones has an 80.9. He was the highest graded Giant against the Cowboys. And if you just look at his numbers, you're like, wow, these are great numbers from a completion attempt standpoint, from a yardage standpoint, 0 touchdowns and a pick. So we'll get to him, but Micah McFadden was the second highest graded Giant, 78.4. I don't know. When you watch Giants games, Micah McFadden has he'll have that one good play that he gets a compliment for per game on the broadcast. The booth will actually call him out and say, that was a great play by 41, Micah McFadden, blah, 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 once per game. And he's consistently getting these high grades from Pro Football Focus. I guess he's a good player. I just don't. The eye test when you watch the game, it's just, I'm sure if you were to break down the film and analyze the film, you'll say to yourself, yeah, Mike McFadden, look at him, he's a standout. But I don't know that he's taking over the game, but he's suitable, I guess, acceptable. It's a very interesting case of I don't know that his stat line usually pops each week, but I guess he's a decent player. Jason Pinnock, third highest graded Giant. He's usually amongst the highest graded. Again, I don't know that there were any plays that really stood out to me from him, but I guess goes hand in hand with the next highest graded Giant, Andrew Thomas, 75.6. When the offensive line does their job and protects, they very rarely get the spotlight, right? It's like they're not getting the shine that they deserve during the broadcast. And then you go back and watch the film and you're like, well, look at how great they perform. So I guess that must be the case with Pinnock and McFadden. It's like, if you do your job, you won't be noticed. You won't stick out like a sore thumb. And then Malik Neighbors, the fifth highest graded Giant, 72.5. We had more first downs than the Cowboys. We had more net passing yards. We had more total yards. We had a higher third down conversion. We had less penalties. We had more fourth down conversions, and we had way more time of possession, and we lost this game by 5 points. We came in and, we were saying, and I said in my preview, the Cowboys had like the worst rush defense in the league. They just got gashed by the Ravens for 200 plus rushing yards. The Saints took them to task with Alvin Kamara and 24 carries, 26 yards. I did not realize it was that bad while I was watching the game. 1.1 yards per carry. That's just, that's pathetic. That's sad. And it's not for lack of effort, we mentioned Daboll's play calling and how he got a lot of rave reviews in the first half, but it was almost a fucking guarantee that he was going to run on first and even second down. Even after a first down run fails, he'll run on second down and it will fail again. So it's like, yes, you want to, knowing that their run defense has been subpar and has been lackluster, you do want to place an emphasis on the ground game and not give up on it. But you could have been better about the way in the sequential order in which you called plays. You don't have to run the ball on first down. And I'm okay with a short pass on first down to get you 4 or 5 yards and then run the ball. We just didn't see that, at least not in the first half. In the second half, they decided to, I just disagreed with, we're going to run the ball on first down every first down, dude. And then to not even consider play action on first down was wild. So I wholeheartedly disagree that the play calling was flawless or perfect. It was good. It was like slightly above average, but it can be a lot better. We only allowed 1 sack, which is impressive. That offensive line continues to hold up in pass protection, which is all that we asked for, right? And that's why the Daniel Jones haters are even more vociferous now. It's like, hey, you got him as number 1 target and Malik Neighbors. You got him an offensive line that can pass protect, and he's still not winning us games. Am I gonna like dive into that and adopt that as my hypothesis on why the season sucks and the offense sucks? No. It's certainly not a great look for Daniel that he now has everything at his disposal and is still not winning us games. It's a major knock against him. But I think there's something to be said about the play calling as well. 16 third downs. I think we had 18 third down opportunities in the Minnesota game. And that right there is a glowing indication, a huge beacon, red flashing light that the play calling is not good and that the quarterback is not making the right decisions. We should not be getting into as many third down opportunities as we have. Too many third downs. You got to get first downs on downs other than third down. And that means attacking downfield, attacking, running your route beyond the sticks. And if you can't get to the sticks, then we have to make sure that we're running routes and designing plays to get our playmakers, that are specialized in yak. Slayton's good in yak. Wan'dale's great in yak. Malik's great in yak. Our top 3 receivers can get us yak. But you can't get yak when you don't get them separation and moving in space. And what I mean by that is, why are we running a fucking 5-yard hitch or a 4-yard hitch or a curl? Why are we not running crossing routes? Why are we not getting them at top speed, getting them the ball in their hands at top speed? That is when you're going to get yak. Not this bullshit option route nonsense that, worked to a certain degree against the Commanders with Neighbors because he had some sick moves, but you can't expect that every time. And that can't be your go-to default setting on 3rd down. Oh, well, we'll run them 3 to 5 yards short of the sticks, and they'll make a move and they'll get it. 1st down, because that's what they do. No. That can't be the game plan. That can't be how you operate if you want to win games. Consistently throwing short of the sticks, consistently. And yes, that's on the quarterback, but yes, that's also on the fucking play caller, dude. Don't call that play. Don't even give Daniel the fucking option to do that. So that's why it's like, it's not just 100% on Daniel and 100% on the coach. I think Daniel has to be smarter about how he's throwing the ball, knowing that it's 3rd down. God. Only 2 of 13 attempts were past the sticks, and they were both successful. The average distance to go on 3rd down was 8 yards. The average air yards was 6.3 yards. The last 7 attempts on 3rd down were short of the sticks and all failed. So, if you're going into practice this week on offense, I would absolutely hammer that fucking shit home all goddamn week. Just do 3rd down routes against the number 1 defense and run past the sticks every time and figure it out. You gotta work on your deep throws and you gotta work on getting past the sticks. Those are the top 2 priorities this week. The run game, I don't even know what to make of the run game anymore. I really don't. Because I think if you take away Singletary's long run at the end of the Cleveland game, you take that away from his total rushing yards. I don't know that he's surpassing 4 yards a carry or even 3 yards a carry. I don't. The Commanders, I don't know if that's a good barometer, and we did not run the ball well at all against the Vikings. So the run game definitely needs to improve. For sure, you got to work on that. But I think it's pretty obvious that the run game is not going to be the reason why we win games. Like, the run game was the reason we won games in 2022. We were established to run, and we were able to get the run going, both with Saquon and Daniel. And it was that's what drove the offense. That's not going to be the reason that the offense succeeds this year. It has to fall on Daniel throwing the ball deeper than what he's throwing it. 35 minutes of fucking possession. We lost this game. Justin Pennick from Talking Giants had a great tweet. He said, "We'll get to a point one day where offense doesn't feel so difficult." And my God, this has been like the running theme for Giants fans watching Giants football for the past 12 years. We have these long drives, double-digit plays, where we're just eking out 1st downs. Oh, he just barely got the 1st down on that. Oh, we had to do a 4th down conversion. Big, huge 4th down conversion. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 plays for like 50 yards. We're literally, it's like 4 yards a play. We end up with a field goal every time. And then you go on the flip side, and the defense, they're on the field for way too long, 10, 9 plays, whatever. And they will give up a touchdown or a field goal. It's just very long drives, methodical, and it's great. If you can score the touchdown, those are deadly. We love those. We're just not doing it. We're not scoring touchdowns. So it's like, again, I just don't think, and a lot of that falls on the play calling, and a lot of it falls on the quarterback not being able to get the ball down the field. 69 offensive snaps to Dallas's 56. We outsnapped them 13 plays. I mean, look at these drives on offense. 8 plays for almost 5 minutes, 11 plays for almost 6 minutes, 15 plays for 8 minutes, and we end up with a fucking field goal. 11 plays for 6 minutes, 77 yards field goal. 10 plays, 28 yards field goal. 8 plays, 15 yards. It's just like, oh, throw the ball down the field, please. And the times that we did throw the ball down the field, Daniel, he comes up short or he overthrows it. So he just can't throw the deep ball anymore. And I think that's the biggest, we talked about accuracy being a problem. His accuracy has now improved week to week to week. But that accuracy for deep throws has not at all. Overthrowing it early, and now this game severely, woefully underthrowing a lot of balls that would have been touchdowns. He underthrows the ball on that beautiful double move by Neighbors down the left side on a 3rd and 4. Neighbors is wide the fuck open. I mean, there is no one within 20 yards, 25 yards of this motherfucker. And Daniel doesn't hit him in stride. He has to stop, catch the ball, and then make a move as opposed to catching it on the fly and taking it to the house. That's on Daniel. Free play. We have an offsides. It's right in front of you. You have a free play. Unleash that bad boy. Let it fly, Daniel. He underthrows Darius Slayton. Would have been a touchdown. He boots to the right, looking to throw back left, takes his sweet time doing that. I mean, I've never seen a play take longer to develop from the quarterback standpoint. You boot right, you look left, you chuck that motherfucker. He had Neighbors beat 2 Cowboys, Hooker and maybe Diggs, going diagonally to the left back. It's like if Anthony Richardson is the quarterback, that's a touchdown. If it's Jaden Daniels, I think it's a touchdown. I mean, Daniels had a beautiful deep pass on what was a cover 0 look against the Bengals on Monday night to, it was McLaurin. Beautiful. It reminded me of like Jeff Blake back in the day with the Bengals, just like huge arching rainbow that perfectly landed it right in the bucket, right in the basket. And Daniel can't do that. He cannot do that. He has not done that in years, dude. I mean, he didn't do it last year at all. And he hasn't done it this year. He did it. I mean, he did it. I guess he did it in the Cardinals game. That was the last one that I remember. Was the deep toss to Hyatt. That was the last deep pass that he's completed that looked good. This is a stupid stat, but it caught my eye. Daniel Jones has not thrown a touchdown in front of the home fans at MetLife Stadium in 635 days. Of course, like half of those days, or, it's such a stupid stat because it's such a high number of days. And like we only play 17 games. So there's only like 34 days where like he wouldn't be able to throw that. But it's just like, you get the point. It's just a funny, stupid stat. Like, well, they also don't play like 8 months of the year, 7 months of the year, and they also don't play every day. And, they also don't play every game at home. So really it's, but yeah, 0 touchdowns. And I don't even know how many starts at MetLife the past 2 years, 3 years. There's 8 or 9 home games a year. So 0 touchdowns, and, he didn't play a full season last year, but you get the point. It's absurd, but everyone's pretty much in agreement. He cannot throw the deep ball anymore. He only had 2 completions on 14 attempts, 20 yards or more. Woof. When the Giants ran the low average depth of target offense in 2022, it made sense. He had a good run game, only 1 explosive receiver in Darius Slayton, and a suspect offensive line in terms of like pass protection, pass pro. I think this is from Bobby Skinner. Or talking Giants. Giants O-line can protect in 2024, and they have 3 wide receivers who can win down the field. They worked on it tirelessly in camp, but they can't get them. They're trying to live off of yak and mistake-free football, and that's not possible. And so, Yeah, I mean the baseball analogy to this is small ball, right? They're like trying to, work a walk, bunt the guy, get a stolen base, bunt the guy over, get a sac fly. That's a lot. You need a lot for everything to happen. Whereas you have a guy who can just hit a home run. It's like one batter, one run, versus we need 3 or 4 batters to get a run. You need, and honestly, the longer that we're on the field, the higher odds and probability that something's going to go wrong and there's just going to be a mistake. It was like night and day watching the Cowboys offense versus our offense. It's like they just don't have to work as hard. The amount of work that we put in on offense and the yield, the low yield that we get is unbelievable, dude. Singletary had that really crazy run on 4th down where there's no question the guy is elusive. And we threw out the stats last week. I think they hold up. The guy makes people miss. He also fumbled again. It wasn't ruled a fumble, but like he still has issues holding on to the ball. This week he was rocking like the no gloves look, like no tape, no gloves, just raw dog, bare ass, arms and hands. I don't know if that helped at all, but he's just not finding the crease, not finding the seam. And I don't know that the run designs have been well called. Jones, 4 carries, 3 yards, and you get picked up that big 3rd down, took a big hit. So that's not a kind of run call that I like to see called. I like to see him where it's like, there's no one. Like it's a naked boot, or like it's wide open to the sideline and he can run for 6 or 7 yards and run out of bounds. That's like the ideal Daniel Jones run, not 3rd and 2 and he's lowering his shoulder and getting blasted out of 3-yard gain. That's not what I want to see from my quarterback running the ball. And we got to stop handing the ball off to Malik Neighbors. We have to stop. And if we continue to, if we now run that play twice now and it's gone negative yards both times, big negative yards, where it's like almost killed the drive type of play, type of outcome. So I really do think that we have to get creative with that. Either hand the ball off to him and he throws it, which I don't know if that was the plan. I think he faked it because he knew that he had nowhere to run on that one, on this one. But I honestly think he used that as a decoy. You fake the handoff to Devin. You fake it to Malik. You throw it back to Devin. You throw it to Theo Johnson. Another bad play call. Was it 3rd and goal? We're looking like this is our best shot at scoring a touchdown all fucking game. It's in the second half. We motion Wan'dale like 1,000 times in the backfield. He goes left. He goes right. He goes left. So all of the attention has to be on Wan'dale Robinson if you're a Cowboy. Like that's a lot of movement. And you have Malik in the slot, I believe. Not a very wide split. And he just runs like this. He didn't even run it. It was like he jogged 5 yards, less than 5 yards, and turned around. So the ball, and they said on the broadcast, Malik is the decoy on this route. Well, that is a really, really shitty decoy. My man didn't do shit on that decoy route. And Wan'dale gets stopped short, where it's fourth and goal from the 3, and Dable decides to kick the field goal. That's that's essentially when we lost the game. When you don't have enough confidence in your offense to score a touchdown from the 3 fucking yard line, what else can I say? That right there is everything that, and unless that changes throughout the course of the season, we're going to continue to see losses. We're going to end up with another 6-11 season, 5-12, whatever. Another really shitty, awful losing season. And you have to say to yourself, how much more are you going to put up with that? In my eyes, why would you motion Wan'dale 1,000 times and throw him the ball? The attention and focus is on Wan'dale. Fake it to Wan'dale, maybe roll back right and have. Where the fuck is Theo Johnson? He's the forgotten man in this offense. 1 target, 1 catch, 6 yards. Where the hell is Jalen Hyatt? 1 target, 0 catches. This screen game, which I applauded and have praised so far, looked good again in this game. One completion to Tracy for 19 yards, one completion to Tevin for 14 yards. But where did that go? Why did that disappear? So I disagree with the play calling is better than it's been in the past, but the play calling has been a fucking joke for years. So it's a very low bar to surpass and exceed. The play calling has been god awful for years. So anything can be better than the play calling we've had. It has to get better. It has to. So I'm and then, Neighbors has another big drop on a major fourth down, and he suffers a concussion. How he got a concussion on that, I don't know. He just fell on his face and he got a concussion. So that's kind of disturbing. But, Aubrey misses the field goal, nails a 60-yarder, no problem, misses what I thought was a 40-yarder. It turned out to be like a 51-yarder to the right. And we have like 20 seconds to go from the 40-something. And Daniel just automatically, with 15 seconds left to go, decides to let it rip to Hyatt down the right. And it's like, if he just checks it down to Theo Johnson on the left, go back and watch a replay of that play. There is no one around Theo Johnson for 20, 30 yards. And he was already 10 to 15 yards down the field. So if he catches the ball, he can rumble for another 10, 15 yards and get out of bounds. We're now in Dallas territory with what it would be 10 seconds left. You could possibly get another short pass out of bounds, get to like the 30 and it's not a Hail Mary situation. It's more of you can get some guys in open space, spread it out, and you have a better shot. So it's just like, just missed opportunities, bad decisions. And I don't know that that's ever going to go away. It just does. I don't know. It's just, it has not gone away. This is not a good Cowboys team. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't make the playoffs. I just don't think they have it, and I'm not completely absolving the wide receivers. Neighbors had that big drop on fourth down. Wan'dale had a drop on the left side. Now, could the throw have been better from Daniel? This was, I don't know if we were in the red zone or right on the precipice of being in the red zone, but I believe it was a third down. Wan'dale was wide open on the left. I think it's a boot. He's coming out to the left. And, that is a tough throw for quarterbacks. If you're a professional quarterback, it shouldn't be that tough a throw. But if you roll left, you then have to make the throw on the running left. I understand that's tough. But Wan'dale, again, has to stop as opposed to catching it on the fly. And because he has to stop, bobbles it, drops it. If he catches on the fly, it's an automatic first down. He maybe even scores. Slayton, again, this is a tough catch to make. I believe it's on a third down, maybe a fourth down. But he has if he catches it, it's a first down. And Daniel puts it just too far to Slayton's left. Daniel's right. If that throw is a yard in, Slayton should be able to haul that in and we get a first down. So, but this is the kind of offense that it's like, it's just not dangerous by any means. Like if your offense is predicated on everyone has to execute perfectly every time, you're not going to win games. You're just not. So I don't know if Jones is just cannot and will not and refuses to establish any kind of rapport with Theo Johnson. But I mean, he's looking for Malik and Wan'dale every time. And knowing that teams are going, the fact that Neighbors was able to catch 12 balls on 15 targets is incredible. Because, that has to be the focus of every defense coming in is like, we need to shut him down and stop him. And the fact that the defenses are doing that and he's still being as successful as he is a testament to his athleticism, his ability to make the tough catch and to get separation, even when he's doubled or tripled. But it has to be more than Malik and Wan'dale. I think it has to be. especially in situations in tough situations. I'm thinking back to like maybe 2007 or 2011 when Eli, it's like, okay, Amani's doubled, Steve Smith is covered, and Kevin Boss is open. Hakeem is covered, Victor's covered, Mario's covered. Well, it's okay because Jake Ballard or Bear Pasco is open. It's like that's when you need your tight end to step up, and it's possible that Theo is getting open and Daniel's just, it's not in his protocol. It's not it's not even a thought going through his head that I got to look for Theo because Theo might be open. He's a big target, dude. He's a big target. He can be your safety valve. He can be your last resort. I mean, you can probably get away with a poor throw to Theo Johnson. You cannot get away with a poor throw with Wan'Dale Robinson. I know he 11 of 14, 11 catches on 14 targets, but like you saw it, like he's open down the field. You overthrow. It's easy to overthrow Wan'Dale. It's easy to have a bad throw to Wan'Dale. It's easy because he's a small guy. It's nothing Wan'Dale can do about it. It is what it is. But like, if to me, I'd rather throw it to the guy that's bigger, longer wingspan, higher jump capacity than a guy who's 5'8", especially on crucial downs. So, I mean, DeMarcus Lawrence had a sack, but he was pretty quiet, got hurt. Micah Parsons had a tackle for loss, but he was fairly quiet. The big bads on their side, Trayvon Diggs, I don't know that he did a whole lot. As DeMarvion Overshown and Eric Kendricks. And, those are the guys that stepped up for that Cowboys defense and made a difference. The Cowboys offense only had 2 drives of double-digit plays. We got the 3 and out to start with. Then they had that long drive, 12 plays, 75 yards. Then they had the long throw to CeeDee Lamb for the touchdown, which, I mean, Deonte Banks, we didn't have Drew Phillips. We didn't have Adoree Jackson. And so, you had to figure that CeeDee Lamb was going to have a bounce back game and Dak was going to have a good game. And they always do against us. It's just how it goes. You really wanted and needed Deonte Banks to kind of take that next step and be the CB1 that we all assume he is, or thought he was when he was drafted. And, I think a lot of people are saying, no, he has to earn that right to be a CB1. And sure, he's gone up against some really top-notch wide receivers, and they have not really exploited him or really made him look that bad, at least last year. This year, I mean, I don't know. He's taken a step back in my mind. He's a CB2 until he's not, which is what Bobby Skinner said. He's a CB2 until he's not. So we don't really have a true CB1 at this point. And you have to figure Banks is the CB2. I mean, that pass to CeeDee Lamb, he looked awful. And I understand he probably thinks he has help from the inside on the safety. So the safety overruns it, overshoots it, and that's on the safety. But if you are supposed to be shadowing and following CeeDee Lamb, he toasted you, he burned you big time. And then for him to, I mean, it's optics on that one. I don't know that if he goes full bore, if he's able to catch CeeDee Lamb and bring him down, but he certainly didn't make a huge, hard effort to run him down. It was like, I got beat, he caught it, I'm gonna jog. So he needs, I mean, I don't know what someone needs to light a fire under his ass because he's awful at breaking up pass breakups. Anytime that he's swatting at a ball that's coming, he misses. It's wild. I've never seen anything like it. He just cannot get his hand on the ball when he makes an attempt, and he's had plenty of opportunities to do it. He just looks like a broken man. There's not a lot. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of energy there, enthusiasm, fire. Like, wake the fuck up, dude. Playing soft in the goal line situations. I mean, there's been 2 or 3 passes now that have gone for touchdowns where he's playing soft and he makes a play on the ball and he doesn't make it. And it's just like, I don't know. I'm really disappointed in Banks. Big time. because like you never would have thought coming into the season, like he's going to be the liability. He's the guy that we have to be worried about and concerned about. It was like, no, we got this. Banks has got CB1 on lock. He's going to lock down the opposer receiver's top target. And all we have to worry about is our CB2 or slot and making sure that those other guys on the wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 don't gash us. And that has not been the case this year. It's just Banks is so. I mean, Cordell Flott, I guess you could say some positive things about him. There's some optimism there, I guess. I still don't think he's the answer at CB2, but at least he knows how to break up a pass. He knows how to deflect a pass, defend a pass. Seems like he's getting better at that. I still don't think he's. And I don't know. Maybe he does emerge, but it doesn't feel like he maybe has the physicality to really match up with a lot of receivers, but seems like he's playing better. I expected more out of Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau, and it just seems like they have yet to emerge from their shells, really. Again, technically, yes, I guess it's a better performance than what we've seen, but the expectations on them are so fucking high that's like they are falling well short. Burns did have that great tackle for loss. Thibodeau gets a sack, and I think he got a pretty good pressure on third down, but otherwise, this is not what we envisioned. We envisioned chaos, havoc, just wrecking offenses. The quarterback has no time to throw the ball. Just like hassled and harangued and just like, nope, that is not happening. That is not happening. So, and now you're starting to see Azeez Ojulari get more snaps each and every week because it's like you're not getting it from Kayvon or from Brian Burns. So it's like, you can show me all the film you want about how, he's doing this, look at this, doing this, da-da-da-da. You're getting paid top dollar to sack the quarterback, to disrupt the quarterback. You're just not doing it. You're not doing it. Against the Cowboys offensive line this lost some guys, is not the Cowboys offensive line that we've seen in years past. Rookie left tackle. There was a tweet that Kayvon's giving Guyton fits over there. And it's like, is he though? Is he? Because from my standpoint, there were only a couple of plays where it's like Dak was off kilter and made a bad throw because of the pressure. Ugh, boy. Brian Burns did not generate a single pressure on 25 pass rushes against the Cowboys. It was Burns' first career game without a pressure in which he had at least 10 plus rushes. He matched up against offensive tackle Terrence Steele on 17 of 25 rush attempts. That's next gen stats. Yeah, we did get our first sack of Dak Prescott since 2021 via Kayvon Thibodeau. But, 22 of 27 for 221 yards and 2 touchdowns, And to me, I'm actually kind of surprised that the Cowboys got away from the run game because, Dowdle, 11 carries, 46 yards for over 4 yards a carry. Even Zeke, 5 carries for 19 yards, almost 4 yards a carry. Like, why would you get away from that? And why wouldn't you just keep pushing on that? I don't know. CD, 7 of 8 on catches and targets, 98 yards and the touchdown. Of course, the touchdown was 55 yards. So I guess, 6 catches for 40-ish yards. If we hold them to that, that's a win. But it's the one long touchdown that ultimately loses you the game. Jake Ferguson, 7 of 7, 7 catches, 7 targets, 49 yards, So it's not like I don't know. It's not like their offense was running wild on us. It really came down to the touchdown to Dowdle doesn't come back due to penalty, and the long touchdown pass. That really is what it comes down to. And it's sad that that's where we're at. That an opposing offense and our opponent cannot look good at all, and to have penalties out the ass, and to not control time of possession and still win the game. That's where we're at as a team and as a franchise. So tell me, what is inspiring about that? What makes you think this team is turning it around? You come out and you beat the Commanders. You come out and beat the Cowboys. You're 3-1. You have my respect. You have my undying oath. I'm loyal to the shit and I'm ready to ride for you. You lose to the Commanders on some bullshit, on some stupid personnel decisions and some bad decisions and missed opportunities and turnovers. You lose to the Cowboys on some, good teams don't have to be perfect to win games. We are damn near perfect and still lose games. That's where we're at right now. So I don't think we're a good team because we have to play perfect to win, and even then we don't win. That's to me, that's all that needs to be said. You can fucking examine the X's and O's till the day you die. But if you are playing mostly mistake-free football and the other team is making mistakes and you're the team losing, says something about your coaching staff, your personnel, your organization. It says a lot. And then we'll wrap things up with special teams play. Tyrone Tracy Jr. fumbles the kickoff on a big hit. Why Tyrone Tracy and Eric Gray are back returning kicks when they can't hold on the ball, I don't know. Amir Smith-Arcette had a really good punt return. So I think that kind of he gets back into our good graces after, not looking that great over the past week or two. He put us in really great field position that we ultimately didn't do a whole lot with. Greg Joseph, good to see him go perfect, 5 of 5 on field goals. I tweeted this, and it got zero traction, and maybe I'm completely off on this, but why have we just automatically decided to kick it for a touchback every single kickoff? To me, that is a huge indictment of our kickoff coverage team. That to me is saying we don't believe in our kickoff coverage team to go down and make a tackle. Because for you to automatically hand the ball over to the opponent at the 30-yard line, especially a team like the Cowboys who have a kicker like Brandon Aubrey who can hit it from fucking 68 yards, you're handing them 3 points almost every drive automatically. Why are we not doing what I see other special teams kickoff units doing and pooching it and kicking it into the landing zone so that the other team is forced to return it? And then where do they usually return it to? Not the 30, the 25, the 20, in that range. Think about every time that we've had to return a kickoff. Do we get to the fucking 30? No. So no one's talking about it. It blows my mind because the Cowboys were doing it to us. They were saying, we know for a fact that your kickoff return unit sucks and that Tracy and Gray are not threats. And so we are going to pooch it and we're going to force them to return the ball. We're going to force turnover. They almost did. You're not going to get to the 30 and there's a possibility of a turnover. Now I understand Cowboys had Turpin. Turpin's Turbin, whatever. Deadly. But I would much rather take my chances with him taking it to the house than I would handing them 3 points. So, I mean, it's wild to think that, Jones, minus the interception, I think in the first half they put up the graph at the QB comparison. Jones has like 100 QB rating and we only punt one time and maybe we didn't punt in the Commanders game. So like we didn't punt much in the Browns game in the first half. So it's like, it's so weird to be sitting here and saying, because we've seen so many Giants offenses in so many Giants games where it's like nonstop punts. And it's like, kill me. This is the worst form of football. We're not doing that. We're not punting the ball a lot, if at all, every game. And we're still not scoring a lot of points and we're not winning games. That's what is like driving me nuts, is that all these numbers should be adding up to wins. But Cowboys are averaging 6 or more yards per play. We're averaging 5 or less yards per play. So, we don't got it. We don't got it. And I guess I could sit here and say, well, maybe it is just a tweak here or there. It's just a turn of the knob here. It's a pull of this lever. It's just a little adjustment, a little calibration here or there. If we start hitting on some deep throws, if we start hitting, past the sticks, we avoid getting into so many third down opportunities. Maybe it is as simple as that. We start winning games, but I don't know how many games you need to see of this to know that it's not going to happen. The fact that the Cowboys can look so bad, not bad per se, but like they're not like the Cowboys did not play their best game last night, right? I don't think they played like a great game, but yet here we are, still lost by 5. So, and could have lost by much more. That's what ultimately is just, that's why I'm being such a huge buzzkill and a hater right now, is because, despite how good everything looks most of the time, I guess, more times than not, we're looking good and still coming away with losses. It's like, that's what's so upsetting. So, and it's not a case of like, I don't know. I for some reason in past years, I had more optimism. This year, it's just like, I don't. So that's Giants Cowboys. Looking ahead to the Seahawks game in week 5. This game will be Sunday, October 6th at 4:25 p.m. at Lumen Field in Seattle, Washington. The lines aren't out yet because I'm doing this preview way too early. But I assume that the over-under will be lower and it'll probably go under. The last 5 matchups have not been kind to Big Blue. Seattle, we always seem to face Seattle in October. That seems to be a common theme. But we have not had a good track record against them. Last 5 matchups, we've only won once. That was the December game in 2020 when Colt McCoy and Alfred Morris led us to a win over Seattle, a huge major upset win that made us start to believe that maybe we got something going here and maybe that we turn things around and we're going to make the playoffs and win the division. Nope. We lost last year 24-3. Jones, another shitty game, threw the pick 6. Halloween's Eve of Halloween. So the eve of All Hallows Eve. We lost 27-13 in 2022. October 2017, we lost 24-7. And then November 2014, my birthday, we got shellacked 38-17. Seattle leads the series, all-time series 11-10. And you can see just like 4 of the past 11 wins against us have been in the past 10 years. So they've got our number. That's for sure. They're 8th in points scored per game, 4th in points allowed per game, 3rd in passing yards per game, 22nd in rushing yards per game, which is interesting. I know that Kenneth Walker got hurt, so maybe that has been a major factor why. I don't know that Charbonnet seems like a big guy that can be a workhorse, but I guess it hasn't really taken off for him. And there's always a threat of Geno taking off and running. So 22nd is a little surprising to me. They are 1st in defensive passing yards per game and 15th in defensive rushing yards per game. So if you thought our offense struggled against 2 of the worst defenses, and I know it's crazy to say, or 3 of the worst defenses, and yes, I'm including the Browns because their numbers would show you that they have not been great so far. This season, they were outstanding last season. But the Commanders, Cowboys, and Browns, 3, if you go by the numbers, 3 subpar below average defenses. And we struggled against them. We struggled to put up more than 20 points against each one of those motherfuckers. So we're going to go into Seattle, and I think we're going to get crushed. Dismantled. Offensively, I'd be surprised if we were able to reach 10 first downs. I think this is going to be a really awful game for us, even with the massive layoff, getting the mini bye week. Neighbors goes down with the concussion. Who knows if he'll be back? And ready to go at 100%. We won't be able to run the ball, and we sure as shit won't be able to pass the ball. I mean, if you think that the Seattle game is going to be the game that we break out in terms of Daniel hitting on deep throws, it's not. Like, it's going to be even worse. We're going to see a lot of 1 yard and 2 yard and 3 yard pass gains, which absolutely kill me as a Giants fan. Just awful to watch. Just like, you practiced that play, you called that play, you designed that play. And is that what you were hoping for? Fucking 2 or 3 yards gain. Yikes. So, it's not going to be pretty. And this is where we're at as a franchise. We can hope that we can say after the game, at least we didn't get blown out. That's where we are. So, maybe the defense won't keep it close. I can see this being a game where it's like kind of close at halftime and then Seattle pulls away in the second half, big time. We have not been fortunate in Seattle. It's a tough place to play. They're I think they're undefeated, 3-0, tops NFC West, because the 49ers are kind of falling apart. Debo's hurt, Kittle's hurt, McCaffrey might be out for months now. So Brock Purdy looks somewhat human without his weapons. And, they lost to a even more banged up Rams team, which was nuts. So the Rams are kind of trying to keep their head above water. So are the 49ers. Cardinals look like they could be a threat. And then the Seahawks are sitting atop the division. So this one's going to be so ugly. So goddamn ugly. And I mean, I don't know. It's, what would you need to see here? I mean, if you go in and get a win, then I guess, hope is restored, but it could be if Neighbors is not 100%, I'd rather just to say, he's a young talent. There's no reason in what appears to be a lost season. There's no reason to rush him back against a Seattle team a Seattle defense is just going to be ravenous. So it's like, I'm fine with us like not playing Malik on Sunday, and it'll give you the opportunity to see like, all right, who can step up, because it can't just be all Malik. It has been all Malik, and we've gone 1-3. So it's like you need other guys to step up on offense. And you can't have Daniel just leaning on Malik so much. So if he doesn't play, this will be a good opportunity to see like, okay, so force Daniel to get the ball to some other people and to get some other people in the mix and maybe get some other people some confidence. It's like, I don't know that Slayton really has the confidence that he has in years past. I don't know that Theo Johnson feels like he's a part of the offense. Like, let's start to let's that Madden video game stat where it's like you get a bonus or medal or achievement when you throw it to spread the ball around and you hit 9 different receivers and you get bonus points towards whatever. Like, let's see Daniel do that. Let's see him do that in this game against Seattle. Oh boy, you get smoked in Seattle, then you got to go. You're hosting Cincinnati, which the Commanders beat them. They do not look good. They do not look like they've got their act together. Of course, they've had bad starts in the past and have made the playoffs, so this could be a case of that, but that feels like it could be a winnable game. It's a Sunday night game or Monday night game. Yeah, Sunday night game. So maybe you get a victory there, and then you got to welcome fucking Saquon Barkley. And that could be a tough game to watch and to swallow. I'm not saying a loss to Seahawks is really the death knell, because I just don't see that. It's just, given what we've seen so far, I don't know that we're going to take the next step and take down Seattle, which Seattle is the second best team that we have faced so far, or going to face so far. Vikings were probably number 1. I think you got to say Cowboys 2, Commanders 3, Browns 4. And we get the win against the Browns. So I don't see a win there. Maybe we squeeze out a win against Cincy. And maybe, I think it's going to be a case of like, we welcome in Philly and maybe we play a similar game as we do against Dallas, where it's like we keep it close the whole game and then we lose. Like we outperform them in most of the major KPIs and categories and metrics, and we still lose. I can very easily see that. So it's like, and again, at least we're not getting blown out. Well, Jesus Christ, why are we playing? Why are we playing? To not get blown out or to fucking win? We're going to get smoked against the Steelers in Pittsburgh. That home game against the Commanders is no longer, Jaden Daniels looks outstanding. So I think that could very easily be a loss. To play in Germany against the Panthers, who might be going through a renaissance under Andy Dalton. We got to welcome the Buccaneers, Cowboys, Saints, Ravens. It's just like, yeah. So we're looking at another 5 or 6 win season, maybe. And then, I don't know, man. I guess you say run it back another year and hopefully you get the 2 or 3 guys you need to win these close games. Is this going to be another 2015 or, I guess 2015, not so much 2014, but 2015, where it's like you had 2 to 4 games that you could have won if you just make a play here or there. And Coughlin got fired after that. They said enough of this. We've seen enough of you to know that you can't win anymore. So what is pointing towards you believing that Dable is going to win? You can talk about how much of a genius he is, but like if you can't get your guys to execute on this scheme that you think is so genius level, what's the point of having the genius level shit? I don't know. I'm not crazy about special teams. The defense is whatever at this point. It's an average defense. We thought we could be a top 10 defense with the addition of Brian Burns. And we're like average to below average. We thought we'd get offensive linemen in here and we can be average to above average offense. Not a top 10 offense, but certainly fringe playoff offense. And we're an average to below average offense, even with our offensive line playing exceedingly far better than they have in years past. We're better, but it's the same results. That's what's so insane. So, yeah. So that's the Giants. Thank you so much for listening and thank you so much for watching.